Remember, don't shoot food.
We see the console as being the king today, and we sort of look back and we say, well, how did the console get to be king? And that's a living room experience. It's a experience where people can come in, they can connect to high definition equipment, connect to their stereo system, they can easily sort of play games, and that experience is sort of broadening.
Why is it going to be a game console that gets to own the TV? Why did that argument exist for 20 years? It existed because the only kind of interactive entertainment was video games.
PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 are not just producing game boxes, they're producing media devices. The game publishers are not just producing games, they are producing hot media properties. And finally, game publishers are no longer just game publishers, they are evolving and becoming media and entertainment companies.
The console doesn't need to be connected to be very powerful. You can still play a console, you can still go down to the store and buy a game, have a great gaming experience, and you don't have to worry about being connected. Whereas, sort of on the flip side, for the PC, a lot of what people are doing these days relies on that connectivity.
That's the thing. For 20, 30 years, people have been saying, well, the PC is more powerful. People are going to plug it into their TV and play in the living room. Or they're going to play in some other room, not the living room. I don't think either one of those is true. I think the living room is the entertainment hub for the family. I just don't think that it's going to be a proprietary, dedicated game console. It doesn't. How did Sony, a consumer electronics company that should have never been in the video game space by most people's then kind of thought pattern, the kind of current thought pattern based on history. And so Sony was able to come in, and one of the main positives that they had, and one of the main things that enabled them to be successful, is they courted developers. They courted developers with a powerful platform, with powerful tools, with money, with organization, with support for third-party titles. So, okay, you've got this platform out there that developers like to develop for that is going to now be this platform for innovation. And what's happened to that platform? It's kind of stagnated. You've got to now be like basically a Wall Street bank kind of company like Electronic Arts or Activision.
You know, I look at games, I look at Geometry Wars, I look at Everyday Shooter, I look at Uno, I look at N+. I know all these developers. That's what I do on a daily basis. I talk to developers. A lot of these are mom and pop, sort of small team guys, and they have put their games up on PlayStation Network. They put their stuff up on Xbox Marketplace, and they're doing quite well.
Nobody bought an Xbox to play Uno or Geometry Wars. Sorry, Goldman Sachs, nobody ever thought that they would be groveling for pocket change on the sidewalk this week, and yet they are. That's what's about to happen to the console business because the economics fail.
The game publishing sector is growing from some 30 billion to 50 billion supposedly in the next few years, 17% CAGR, very, very aggressive.
The PC, despite all of its flaws, is actually the biggest game market in the world, and there's more dollars, $57 billion are associated with the PC business. It's more than all next generation consoles combined. And the dollars are moving toward the PC.
If we strip away the economic issues and the development issues and just say, where would a consumer most like to consume their high-def video and audio entertainment experience? Is it going to be on a PC in their office or their work office, or is it going to be in front of a home theater on a widescreen TV with a PS3 in their living room?
The biggest, most successful, fastest growing games happening in the market are MMOs and community-based games. We live in the era not where games are defined by graphics anymore, but by community, and the console doesn't add any value in that world, and that's why the consoles are dead. Those of you who've been in the game industry a long time recognize there have been total protonic collapse in the console business at several points in its history. ColecoVision, Atari, I think the Atari guy can attest to that. Sega, where'd they go? That was a great console platform. Gone overnight, nobody remembers them. The companies, in order to be in the console business, has to make astronomical cash outlays and risks to get into the console business. A console like an Xbox or PS3 or Xbox 360 is sold at $120 to $160 loss per unit that they sell, in addition to the $8 billion Sony spent and the $25 billion I think Microsoft has an Xbox at this point. In fact, to give you some perspective, the Xbox 360, which is the second most popular console in the US, all Xbox titles combined generate less revenue than World of Warcraft subscriptions. The entire Xbox 360 software business is minuscule compared to one PC game. Sony is not the company they used to be. The PlayStation 3 is a market failure, and they will never recover the billions in dollars they've lost in the current generation of consoles. Sony themselves say, we're not making another one for 10 years, which is code for none of the people here where jobs expect to be around by the time we have another console discussion.
I believe that the consumer will say, I prefer a much more comfortable, holistic environment where I can sit and do this.
Actually, according to the Nielsen study, the average console gamer spends more time playing PC games a month than console
Yeah,
games.
I'm not talking about taking a
actual facts,
Yeah.
factual research study you can look
I
at
know, I'm
rather
not
than your
talking,
speculation.
yeah, I'm not talking about taking a slice of where the current transition is right now. I'm trying to predict out where the transition began 2 years ago, as we all started to see publishers having to spend a fortune on producing games with a very low install base of PlayStation 3s. When the PlayStation 3 first launched, if you're a gamer and there's only 15 games available, of which a third of those are fantasy, are you really going to spend $600 on a PlayStation 3, play 4 games and then sit and wait 6 months until the next lot come out, or buy an Xbox 360 that have over 100 games that you can play?
This is the last generation. These guys are not going to make another one.
Wow. Big bloggers, get this one, I'm serious. Get this one down and get back to us in 5 and 8 years.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what consumers think about or how much money they're willing to spend on it if the underlying economics fall apart in a new era.
We'll need a federal bailout.
Yeah, it'll need a federal bailout. Sony and Microsoft are going to be over there going, will you subsidize our next console generation?